Welcome back, rum fans. My name's Steve the Barman, and I'm just here to help you on your rum journey by mainly focusing on rums under £50. Yes, there will be spiced and flavoured rums from time to time, but I don't want to focus on the top end, like your £100, £120 rums. At this moment, we might, from time to time, I might test my palate out from time to time, but I just want to help you on a journey, the starter journey, and then pass you off to the proper experts, if you like, if you kind of get into those really expensive stuff. But at the moment, I'm quite happy educating my palate under 50 quid. So whatever that is in your currency of choice, but £50 in the UK today. Bacardi, I need some education here. I'm going to say Bacardi Ocho. Is it Ocho or Ocho? Ocho. It's 8-year-old Bacardi. Anyway, whichever way you look at it. But I want some Puerto Rican, Cuban, Spanish-speaking people to educate me. Is it Ocho or is it Ocho? I think it's Ocho. I don't know. Educate me. Let me know. Spell it phonetically in the comments below. Like use a K or something in the comments below. Let me know. So, Bacardi 8-year-old. I want to kind of revisit this purely because, right, let's tell you the little story. Well, it's not a story. Let's take you down a rabbit hole. Bacardi Casablanca is going to be, to a lot of people, your starter rum and coke, starter daiquiri maybe. But when you embark on your rum journey, you're very quickly going to forget it, and kind of it is that rum that kind of gives the rest of the brand a bad name. It is not a bad rum. Unfortunately, there are just a hell of a lot better white rums out there, very easy and very accessible when you go down a rum journey. Spending £20 will give you at least 3, if not 4 other astronomically better white rums than Bacardi Casablanca. It makes a decent rum and coke. It makes a decent daiquiri, but there are way better for literally like £5-6 more a bottle. So you don't have to go that far. So it does give the brand a bad name. I'm not a huge fan of the Bacardi Oro. I think it's still called that. It might be Bacardi Gold. Essentially the kind of, I think it might even be like a 2-year-old rum. I forget what it is now, but just basically that coloured up essentially. So he kind of gives that. But then when you get onto the Bacardi 4-year-old and the Bacardi, which I will do probably in a month or so, I will do the 4-year-old. But when you get into the 4-year-old and the 8-year-old, I do think they are superior, way superior quality. And that's what I mean. That Bacardi Casablanca does give Bacardi a bad name. Now, are these to the rum, I mean it with affection, I really do, but to the rum geeks, is Bacardi 8-year-old, Bacardi Ocho, I'm just going to call it Ocho, I'm really sorry, but is Bacardi Ocho a great rum to the rum geeks? No, they're going to score it terrible. For us, under £50, well, let's find out. Let's go through the tasting and find out. But I think it is. Little tip, but we'll go there. So we'll go down the whole thing. So what can I tell you about this? Not too much, really. There is one shocking fact that I found that I'm not convinced is true, but I've read it 3 times, but I'm still not convinced it's true. But let's go on. It's a column still rum. It used to be, if you know the whole story, it used to be Cuban. It used to be Havana. It's not. It's made in Puerto Rico now. We won't go into the stories. That's for another day. But it used to be Cuban. It's not anymore. It's Puerto Rican rum. So obviously Havana is the old Bacardi, etc., etc., etc. But the shocking fact that I found out, and I do not believe this is true, I've read on 3 occasions that this is sweetened and it's got 12 grams of sugar in it. I've even seen one that said it had 14 grams of sugar. I didn't think Bacardi added anything to their rums, sweetness-wise. That genuinely shocks me. If that is true, that has genuinely shocked me. I thought Bacardi didn't add sugar. Additives, yes, like colouring and all that. We know all brands do that. But sugar really, really shocked me. I wasn't aware of that. And that's not a down thing. It's just really got me. You know, a lot of my favourite rums have got plantation, have got a lot of sugar in them, up to 20 grams. You know, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It just shocked me that Bacardi adds sugar. I didn't think they did. So I'd love to have that clarified as well. I've not done a hydrometer test on this because I don't, you know, I haven't got the proper test conditions to do that yet. So that's for later stages. But yeah, really shocked me. So it is Smuggler's Cove. If you're a Smuggler's Cove fan, it is category 4, which is column still long aged. It's a column still rum, obviously in a Spanish kind of style. And I say allegedly 12 grams of sugar going on in there. So Price-wise, every time I've spoken about the price of this, I've always related it to supermarkets and the big supermarkets in the UK. Sainsbury's is one of them. It's not Tesco's, but Sainsbury's Scotland. It's about £32. However, Master of Malt is £30 on there. £30 locked out, standard price, £30 on Master of Malt. I was quite cool with that. So let's go down the old tasting journey. And as always, we use the Rum X app. Download it if you're in Europe. Hopefully this will come out to the US very, very soon. It's an awesome app. Just go and stalk it out. It is awesome. Flipping love it. It gives you a brilliant framework. Hello, Oliver. Oliver's in Germany who created it. Legend. Right, the first thing we do on our little taster when we open it up to click the magical button, taste it, we get confronted by what's the colour and we get a little grid. I've called that mahogany. I think, and obviously, you know, the iPhone screens are all going to differ and all this, that and the other, and Android screens and all that. I've called that mahogany. I think that's mahogany, maybe a touch off, but I've just called it mahogany. That was the closest one from my eyes on the app. So, tasting notes, what can I smell? So how this works, if you're joining me for the first time, I nose it, I then taste it. We've got the mixes like rum and coke, rum ginger, daiquiri, rum fashioned and all that. I've got the app open as well. I haven't really looked at, I've quickly had a squint on there, but I've not really looked at what other people have picked out as yet. I want to do it off I want to train and test my palate and then see how it compares. But I've got everyone else's tasting notes on there. I will tell you that this has been reviewed 39 times so far on the Rum X app, which isn't a lot compared to some rums. Some rums really shock me how popular they are. Bearing in mind, I think that should be a really, really popular rum. But anyway, so we'll go down. So that's what you're in store for. So smelling on the old nostrils, on the old whiffs. I've written down vanilla sweetness. I think there is a lot of vanilla sweetness on there. Caramel. The big note that really came out of me was, and I kind of, this is because it's one of my favourite categories of fruit. It's kind of like that stone fruit. I've written down peachy apricot. Now, nectarines, I'm not saying it's nectarine, but nectarines I will eat all day long until the cows come home. I love nectarines. They're one of my favourite fruits, and that's why I can kind of pick out these kind of vibes, because I really do love that style of fruit. For me, much prefer that over like pineapples, passion fruits, mangoes, anything. I prefer that. I'm not a peach fan, but nectarines, really, really lovely, and apricots, love them. So that's why I do pick that up. That is there. I think more peachy apricot, but yeah, I get plenty of that in there as well. I've also noted a little bit of tropical fruit in there, because I do think there's like maybe like a little nod to pineapple or something in there, but for me it's kind of those peachy apricot vibes. The one thing I will say in here, and this is very weird, smelling that, and I can't justify this in my head, but if I was blindfolded and you said to me, is that pot still or column still? 100% that is column still. And I don't know why, I can't formulate an argument in my head, but I recognise that as a column still rum from the nose. Because it's lighter, I'm guessing, hasn't got any of those traditional pot still characteristics. It's just pure out and out, probably continuous column still on there. And that's all I can really say about that. A little touch of oak. And the final thing I did pick up on there, right at the back end, is a little touch of chocolate on there. Not too much, just a little tiny whiff of chocolate on there. So, scores. The one, I used to say all the time, the one I add in is sweetness. I do like to smell something and get an idea of how sweet it's going to be. So that's the one thing I add in that's not on the Rum X. It shouldn't be on the Rum X app. It's just purely for me. I like to prove myself wrong. So I've scored it a 2 out of 5 on sweetness. It's potential to be a little bit sweet, but not overly sweet on the old sweetness for nostrils. So 2. And then we've got 3 for fruit. I think it is way kind of peachy, apricot-y heavy on that. So 3 out of 5. Floral 2, because you kind of do associate those peachy apricot vibes with a little bit of floralness to them as well. Scott, you're going to absolutely hate me for that. I'm sorry, but it's how we kind of classify it. So kind of fruit, so floral in that sort of sense, the bouquet of aromas in that sort of sense. Spices 3, woody oaky notes 3, roasted 2, rounded 2. So yes, there is a nice nod to aging in there, but it's not the dominant force. I think the dominant, it's in equal amounts to those kind of lovely, luscious stone fruits, if you like. So that's the old nostrils, the old nosing. On the old tasting, I'm just going to have another little glug just to remind myself, but they're all written down there. peppery spice hits me. I've started swilling. I'm not sure if I should share that, but I've started swilling. I used to sip and swallow. I started swilling and putting all those flavours around the mouth. That really makes a huge difference, you know. All these different flavours kind of burst out from everywhere when you kind of swill it around your mouth. I kind of like that. You know how wine people do when they go, I like that. I think we should try to do that collectively. But anyway, let's dive in. So the first bits I got really kind of shocked me, actually. I was expecting fruit up front. It's not. It's caramel oakiness up front. Lots of caramel, lots of oakiness, a lot of sort of peppery spice bite up front. But it has got that hint of fruit in there. I personally think, what did I score it? Yeah, again, equal kind of measures. I did this yesterday and I'm kind of filming it today. So the fruit and the wood notes, the oakiness in there for me is parallel because the fruit comes up after. The initial burst is those woody, peppery, oaky notes, but that is then balanced out by the fruit, those kind of stone fruit characteristics. So what can I taste? Caramel, oak, peppery, stone fruits, a little hint of chocolate. And this is the other thing. I've got a subtle hint of red fruit in there. And I can't be any more specific than that. I've put berry. I can't pick it. I literally cannot pick it, but there is something kind of berry-ish going in there. And I don't know what. I cannot place it for the love nor money, but there's something right at the back, which quite interested me. But the big fruit notes are those peachy, apricot-y kind of vibes. All right, so scores on the doors, 3. Sweetness, 3 out of 5. It's a semi-sweet rum, which would kind of make me think that actually 12 grams of sugar may be true. Bacardi might add sugar. I didn't know that. They might do. But yes, it's a 3 out of 5. Is it 40%er? Has to be 40%er. Yeah, 40%er. If you had told me that was actually 42%er, I might have agreed with you, to be fair. But yeah, 40%er on there. Fruit, 3 out of 5. Floral, 2 out of 5. Spices, 2 out of 5. Woody, oaky notes, 3 out of 5. Roasted, 1. Rounded, 2. Again, I want to emphasise it's as much fruit forward as it is those oaky, but not tropical fruit, not pineapple, passion fruit, all that sort of thing. Definitely those sort of lovely floral kind of peachy apricot-y vibes. I've just dropped that in there again for you, Scott. He's going to be hitting there. Private in-joke with my members community. Anyway, so yeah, those are the scores. Sweetness 3, fruit 2, floral 2, spices 2, woody, oaky notes 3, roasted 1, rounded 2. The finish, medium, does fade out. Not quickly, but it's definitely not a long finish. So classifying it as medium, and it's just just to clarify what I've kind of said. It is those kind of peachy floral fruits with wood. That's kind of the sort of finish I get there. It's a lovely finish to it. I really do like that finish. So before I get onto the scores out of 100, let me run through it. So it's sitting here, and just on a very quick looking, I've got a couple of shocks here. I haven't paid attention to this yet because I like the surprise. So caramel, agree. Vanilla, agree. Fruity, agree. It's on the nose. Oak, agree. Maple, Christ knows where that came from. No, do not get maple. Dates, absolutely no idea where that came from. I do not get a single date on there. No idea. Barrel, 3, as in wood aging, I guess in molasses 2. Again, no, not really. And nutty 2. Again, no. Actually, I can, someone with the super palate, sorry, I'll retract that. Someone with the super nostrils, super palate, may pick up that sort of stone fruit vibe, which is obviously, so for those of you that don't know, amaretto, let's take amaretto for instance. Amaretto, this Serrano is actually made from apricot kernels. The nuts from apricots. It's an apricot kernel. It's not almonds, because apricot kernels do give you that almond sort of taste. That might be a knowledge bomb for some of you. So yes, a super palate, a super taster might kind of pick up those sort of stone fruits and go, oh, nuttiness. So I will retract that on the old nostrils. On the old tasting, oak, sweet, caramel, fruits, woody, spicy, banana, no. I've left a couple out here. Banana, peppery, yes. Smoky. Sorry, that's a taste. Someone's got smoky. I do not get smoke off that at all. And the fact I don't really get banana off that at all. And well, there's no one's got maple on the finish. Let's go on to the finish quickly because this I've just noticed this on here. I'm going to miss out a couple. I'm just going to read them out and come back to two. Three I'm going to come back to. The finish: oak, dry fruit, woody, barrel, smoky. Should have come back to that as well. Vanilla. Right. So smoky, no, I don't get it. Tobacco, no, I don't get that on the finish. Thin, that's definitely not thin. Someone must have written that's had a very sweetened rum because that's not thin. Coffee, that's the last one I'm coming back to. Tobacco and coffee, no. Interesting. There's no right or wrong with this. It's the fact that other people pick out different things. This is why I'm so fascinated by rums and what other people get. So yeah, I mean, anything is possible. There's no right or wrong, but I just don't get them. Right, scores on the doors. So this has been reviewed 39 times. I'll give you the cross section. I've given it an 80 out of 100, which, to clarify, I should know this off by heart by the amount of times I've done it now, but 80 to 89 is very good. And 70 to 79 is good. I think it's better than good. I don't think it's an extremely very good rum. I think it's just very good. So 80 for me, right in the border, sits perfectly. Yes, as I keep saying, you know, the people that are further down the rum journey, you know, on their 60, 80, 100 pound rums, this is going to score a lot lower for them. But for me, on my 50 pound rums, this has to be an 80. For me, it just has to be. And just to kind of relate that, it's been rated 39 times on the Rum X app. This is what makes me laugh. It really does. So it is actually, the vast majority are 70 to 79 and 80 to 89. I'm not alone. I'm not the only one rating it quite high. So 80 for me is pretty much bang on the money, right? We've got, obviously, a couple of rum geeks that have scored it naught, like 0 to 9, faulty. So there's a couple of rum geeks on here that have scored it down. We've also got a 40. Again, there is not a chance in hell that is classed as 40, which is drinkable on the Rum X. Not a chance in hell. That is way better than that. So that's purely coming from a rum geek that is used to like a 4 square ECS, exceptional cask series. Exceptional, whatever it's called. ECS, basically. That is blatantly someone that's done that, because no one at our level is going to rate that as just 40. Not a chance in hell. So it does make me laugh on that sort of thing. So I think 80 is a pretty fair score and pretty damn close to what everyone else is going on there now. Right, taste tests. Rum and Coke, rum and ginger. Yep, happy. £30 for a rum and Coke rum. £30 for a rum and ginger ale rum. Happy with those. In fact, so happy I'm going to have another little tipple. Interestingly, that should be interesting for you, because I'm a rum and ginger man. I went for the rum and Coke there, having tasted these before the video. That's an interesting little novel. It's not that I don't like the rum and ginger, I really do, but I think the rum and Coke may have been a little touch better. I actually do, to be fair. That's kind of interesting. Both of those are really, really nice. Strange for me. I normally would have, if they were both the same, I normally would have gone rum and ginger, but someone in my head went for the Coke. Now, the cocktails. Daiquiri, rum fashioned, rum punch. Daiquiri. That is actually not a bad daiquiri rum. I've started to be won over by column still rums in daiquiris. I still love my white rums. White rums are exceptional, and my favourite is Ron Cube, which is a white column still rum. Spanish style as well. That's actually not a bad daiquiri. Not my favourite, but that is really, really nice. So, you know, I'm kind of all right, man. Palate is changing all the time. I need to go back and watch older videos. Videos pre-Christmas, so where are we? 5 months ago, where I would have tasted that. And that's kind of interesting. Rum fashioned, again, really like it. I have added a touch of sugar to that, just a minuscule drizzle of sugar. Really, really lovely. Happy with that. The letdown for me is the rum punch. It's not that it's a bad rum punch, just to clarify the framework. 1 part sour, 2 parts sweet, 3 parts strong, 4 parts weak, a dash of spice to make it nice, lime, honey and strawberry, rum, passion fruit juice, Angostura bitters. It's nice, but if I'd have put 100 different rums in there, I wouldn't have been able to tell. There's nothing characteristic in that rum to bring that to life. That is just a rum punch. When I use dark rums or other rums that we've done previously, there's the rum character. The last video I shot was the Jamaican Appleton 8-year-old that stood out. Before that, the Pampero Anniversario, it stood out. It added character to the rum punch. That is just any old rum in there. And that's why I like sort of deeper, darker, more caramel-based rums in rum punches. It's not as bad, it's just no character to it at all. It's drinkable, it's perfectly drinkable. It's a nice, lovely, lovely rum punch, but it's just any old rum could be in that. If you'd have put a £20 rum in that, I probably wouldn't have told the difference, if I'm being brutally honest. Whereas if I'd put Appleton Signature in a rum punch versus Appleton 8-year-old, I'm pretty convinced I would have told the difference. Because that's how much the Appleton 8-year-old brought to the party in that respect. So let's sum up. Final thoughts. Would I buy it in value for money? Would I restock that? Yes, I 100% would restock that. Value for money, £30 a bottle. I would have restocked it at £32 from the supermarket, to be fair, but now since it's £30 on Master of Malt, yes, I would restock that. Is there another rum similar or comparable rums that I would associate that with? I'm looking at the wrong Santiago de Cuba, potentially in there. I definitely don't think it's comparable to Havana 7-year-old. I think they're like chalk and cheese, so that's not a comparable rum. The only other one that I'm potentially thinking might be the Cube Añejo, which is a 7-year-old Cuban rum. That's the only other one that I'm thinking that was similar. The Angosturas, even though they're sort of column still as well, are a little bit different. The Flor de Caña 7 is a little bit different. The Plantation Gran Añejo, Guatemala and Belize, again, is a little bit different. So it's potentially between those two, the Santiago de Cuba 8-year-old and the Ron Cube in that sort of thing. But for me, yeah, it's a great brand. Why not?